choices and ambitions. Another perspective to this is that I was also oftentimes wondering, is it really ambition? Or is it just curiosity? That is the truth of the matter. Because oftentimes I would word something that I would summarize my conclusion about something in one word, but then I'm not entirely sure if it's giving justice to the entire idea. I like using the word ambition, but then it could also be called desire. But then it could also be called curiosity. What is the perfect word that could summarize and justify ambition, curiosity, and desires? Is there one word for this? Is there one word? Maybe it's just life. Like life. Life that's meaningful if I live it. Because I could also understand that people have very different definitions of what a meaningful life can be. For me, that's a meaningful life. Ambition, curiosity, and desires. The balanced sort of because I think that also ties to this. I once attended this class. The teachers told us to write down our 5 most dominant core values. But then I realized, do you have this? Have you already listed your core values, the things that are most relevant to you, that you live up to within yourself, and the first thing or the most important things that you look for a companion, whether it's a friend or a lover. And they forced us to not like that, but they told us to write down, or at least think about, our 5 most important core values. And it so happens that I have already spoken about this with one of my flatmates before, so I have already thought about it multiple times. I tried to think, is this really it? And I think I have asked questions and I have gotten answers that supports this. And there is a division in these 5 core values. First division is most important within myself. The values that the values that prevents me from that if I just remain or live my life with these values in my everyday life, I will not well. And then there's it's like a Venn diagram, these values. The first circle, the values that are, if I don't get the chance in my everyday life to live these values, I will and then the middle of the where it meets, and then the second circle is the values that are more for others, for other people, because it also connects, because I don't see my existence only for my own fulfillment. I'm also fulfilled when I see the others, when I contribute to the meaning, or I feel like I'm using again a very, collective word, meaning. But if I contribute to, if I even just a little bit, if I make their one day in their life less sad, maybe if I contribute to that, or less painful, if I even just one day in their lives, if I make it a little, if I help make it a little less painful, if the weight of their load on their shoulders kind of lessens, if I can help with it, it also feels very, I can't just go so there's two values for me and for the rest of the world. And the first, I feel so, I'm not sure if this is the closest thing to the truth, because when I evaluated these values, I think it was 1 year ago, but I feel like it's still true though. Curiosity, and courage. That's for me. My curiosity and courage. Beginning a day with what if I, sort of. What if I? Or what if I? But then sometimes this courage and curiosity, people think that I'm brave sometimes, and I sometimes feel like I don't think so, because I have reasons why I think that I'm the biggest coward on the face of the earth. I have my reasons, and then they will say to me that you're very brave, and deep inside I would feel like, well, that's just because you don't see my entire life. I'm not very brave, maybe a little bit, or maybe in my attempts I always try to be brave. And curiosity, yeah, that's for me. And then in the middle circle, where the two circles meet, is kindness. Yes. Is it third? It's hard to put the values in order, because it looks very different from where you're viewing it. If you're viewing it from the front, maybe the first value is kindness, and the two others on each side are just supporting values. But if you're viewing it from the side, the number one value is curiosity, second courage, third is kindness. So it depends. I don't wanna, dominate your perspective. You can decide which is the number one value that looks. You can decide which value is the most dominant from your perspective. And maybe if we meet, if I happen to notice things that, this feels important to you, I could say to you as well. in your values, maybe you don't speak about it, because I don't also speak about my values in the everyday life, just in special circumstances like this one. And if someone asks, but if I notice it to the other person, for example, I notice that the person is very caring, I would say that, you know, you're always very caring towards the people around you, something like that. And the third and the fourth, the ones that concern the other people, is generosity and ambition. The furthest, if I'm viewing it from this side, this is the Venn diagram, the furthest from me, the ambition and the generosity. Because I also think, for me also, ambition and generosity is like, for me at least, the same thing that happens with courage and curiosity. It's like the same for me, ambition and generosity, sort of, in the way, if I look at the sky and I try to map it out, what I am thinking, ambition and generosity almost feels like the half of the same word, if it was translated. If I were to make a language, if it was translated in English, ambition and generosity, it's just one word. So I'm still thinking about the boatman. His boat is not here. I remember the name of his boat. But yeah, if you know, if are you very curious? Like, would you sacrifice things for your curiosity? Would you sacrifice romantic love for your grand curiosity of the earth, or how far a life can get? I'm sure I'm not alone in this. Because I don't see myself as a very, like there's just one me. No, maybe when I was younger, but then when I see, if I am made like this, there's a probability that there's also someone, somewhere, multiple, someone, somewhere, scattered all over the planet. Because like the trees, look, there's just not one of its species, there's at least multiple of them, or hundreds or thousands. I was also thinking that if I live a very small, very little, or very simple life, my what you call this, the do I have a Tagalog word for this? Maybe I can translate it later. I cannot find the word. My. I'll just give a metaphor. For example, there's no boat in your frame, but there's both on my boat. Like, not both. Boat on my right side. If the boat, imagine the generosity is an ocean. Let's imagine that the generosity is an ocean. or a form of water. Yes, let's imagine that the generosity is one body of water. If the boat only decides to wait, hey, I'm just gonna stay in a pond for the rest of my life. The interaction with generosity is just very limited. It's just a pond, maybe in one country, or not even a country, one town. It's just a pond in one town. Then maybe the boat decides, well, I can at least live my life inside the lake, or within floating, being in contact with the lake, or explore the lake, or whatsoever. Still, lakes can be very big and very deep, but then it ends at some point. Sooner than an ocean would. But if your boat, for example, you're the boat and the ocean is the generosity, your life greatly, the chances of your life overlapping with this greatness is much more diverse. You can be generous in many ways, and oceans, at some point, you don't know where they end or where they begin. They blend together at some point, or it reaches many continents, it reaches many cities, sure, it's limited within the earth, but then it reaches this entire ocean, network of ocean. That's how I see it. That's why I try. Maybe I'm in a little boat. Yeah. I just happen to like exploring the ocean and drifting on different continents. I don't see anything wrong with just staying in a pond or in a lake, but I know for sure that I will be harmful to those who are residing within my vicinity, because I know that I will be frustrated and angry, and that I'm not in the ocean. Even if I had the chance, I know I could be in the ocean, but then I choose to stay in a pond or in a lake. Yeah, so that's why I chose the ocean, and I discarded the other ways a life can be lived, I guess. Because I guess that's the best way I know how not to be painful to those who are around me. Do you feel this? Like sometimes, are you painful to do? Is that a mean question to ask? I hope not, though. I'm just curious. You see? I think my curiosity drips on every sentence. Drips through every sentence. Do you sometimes feel sometimes feel, or do you just think? Because I can see that a lot of people they just think, and that's enough. And that's enough, yes, for some. And there's nothing wrong with that, maybe, in some situations. Oh well. I should be heading back. My mom will probably... My mom might think that I ran away with this beautiful boatman. I will go. And I hope you also get to see this in real life. Yeah, it's nice seeing